Marjorie Taylor Greene resigned from Congress and fled America, now lives in a $5 million Costa Rica mansion. Very America first of her, by the way. Entered Congress with very little money and then left with tens of millions of dollars. Thomas Massie is losing by what looks to be 8 points, a spread of 8 points right now to Ed Gallerin, who should be winning this race in about a week. Thomas Massie has voted consistently with it. He's the #1 vote with the Democrats in the entire Republican caucus. He does this as a personal grudge against Donald Trump. If you want to go on CNN and grind an axe and go on The View, go on MS Now, change your party, switch parties.
Ladies and gentlemen, the woke right is getting absolutely cooked. You already got the people out there like Alex Jones and Candace Owens and Megyn Kelly just totally falling apart. But now you got Marjorie Taylor Greene and even Thomas Massie. Thomas Massie's getting destroyed with these allegations. You guys heard about this?
He wanted me to engage in behavior that I wasn't comfortable. So I couldn't stay in that relationship.
How did he treat you?
I would say emotionally abusive. I mean, at that point I broke up with him and it was bad. And, I had to go to ethics and I ended up getting fired. I had never been written up for any issues. She was expanding what I was doing. But it was, when I started, she screamed at me for going to church. But she was engaging in behavior that I was concerned about. And so I believe that is why I was fired.
Did you by any chance list Thomas Massie as a potential witness? I
did, yes. And he was very angry. And he said, you're just one person, that you can't make a difference, that you need to just walk away. And then he had $5,000 that he said that he would give me if I could just walk away. I didn't take it though. So I have an offer. It's at the House for approval, but settlement.
You have an offer of what?
Settlement for $60,000 to settle the case and for the retaliatory discharge and the Congressional Accountability Act violation.
You're saying that you were offered $60,000 only if you remain silent about all this?
Yes.
Allegations with this woman with the hush money payments. This is Mr. Epstein himself. We got to release the files. Well, the files been released. You just didn't know that it was a different type of file and that you was going to be in them, and it's not looking good. Now, we don't know what's true and what's not, and I'm not even passing judgment. I'm just saying it's a little ironic that this happened to Massie. Massie's out here getting me too, guys, but Marjorie Taylor Greene is crashing out because she thought that maybe she could partner with Massie. It was going to be Greene, Massie, 2028, and that dream has been shattered. The plans of being on The View shattered. They rejected her. Okay, they put a Uno reverse. They said, thanks for going against Trump, but we don't want you.
You've got to look at the character of the people you're speaking of.
So what should you do? Reject her altogether?
Yes, we should reject her altogether. I'm sorry. Why are you so welcoming,
I'm
Joy?
not welcoming. I don't hold grudges. If they want to come over to my side, I'm taking them.
Well, I'm going to hold the grudge. She needs to do that. But in terms of welcoming her with open arms like Joy wants to do and give her a big bear hug,
I'm not going on vacation with her.
Well, I don't know.
Good luck in your career, though. That's basically what they said. So Greene has been coming after Bennie Johnson for just reporting the news after she skipped town, sold her house in Rome, Georgia, and decided to go to Puerto Rico, Costa Rica, whatever the heck she at. He called it out, and now she's mad and posted some deranged, almost leftist sounding individual just crashing out about Bennie Johnson. I'm going to listen to a little bit of this, but I want to mainly show you guys their back and forth battle on X, and it got brutal to the point where eventually it looks like Greene blocked Johnson and then continued to attack him, but just made it where he couldn't directly reply back. Cowardly move. Let's go ahead and react to this. By the way, guys, there's a new feature on YouTube where you can hype videos, so be sure to like the video, hype the video. It helps out a lot. Appreciate you.
Marjorie Taylor Greene resigned from Congress and fled America, now lives in a $5 million Costa Rica mansion.
Bro, this dude is the queen of posting fake news, AI slop, propaganda, and is the princess of the political grift to degrees I never even imagined possible. MTG sold her house in Georgia because she recently got engaged. Very interesting. And because she's on vacation in Costa Rica, liars like this dude, political grifters, literal propaganda operatives like Bennie Johnson just make this claim as if it's true because Larry Loomer is talking about it. A claim which MTG herself has denied. Says that her and Brian Glenn are looking for a new house in her same district.
Very America first of her, by the way.
Bro, you are the least America first person on the panel.
I mean, but wouldn't it make sense for Greene to just say, hey, we're looking for a new house? It doesn't look good if you literally quit your job and then you sell your house and then go to Costa Rica. Like, it just doesn't look good. It doesn't matter what way you try to spin it. That's just how it's going to look. How the heck is anybody supposed to know if you're intending to live in another country entirely or if you plan on coming back? Like, of course, you could clarify that later, but initially, rumors are going to spread. It just is how the news cycle works.
Planet.
Entered Congress with very little money and then left with tens of millions of dollars. Strange how that happens. Like Ilhan Omar, it's the same thing.
Wow, what a surprise. Another lie. Go figure. Who would have thunk it? Wealthy far before Congress, a career in business, owned a construction company with her family. Bro, you're such a liar.
Marjorie Taylor Greene's net worth increased substantially after she entered Congress due to insider trading, of course. So she may have had money, but the amount of money that she gained was far more substantial. Let's not forget that she didn't retire until she got her big pension. Then she was okay with retiring from Congress early, by the way.
Thomas Massie, also somebody who's calling for the release of sexual assault claims. Well, here it is. Here's his dream come true. Thomas Massie, who never votes with Republicans, who always votes against President Trump.
What a surprise. Another lie. Literally votes with Republicans 90% of the time. Brother, how do you have an audience? Literally, how? 96% conservative alignment score from Heritage Action. Brother.
Thomas Massie voted more with Democrats than he voted with Republicans this cycle.
Bro, all these votes are available publicly. Would you like to prove that? I don't know what you're seeing, but this is what I'm seeing. The available 25 to 2026 roll call analysis. There it is. 77% with Republicans. What are you even talking about, bro?
So how do you go from saying like he's got a 90% score to saying that he only votes with Republicans 77%? And guess what? Every single time that Trump mentions something is what he voted against specifically. So there might be other things that are happening, you know, just around the table on a general basis that nobody knows and maybe doesn't even care about. But as it relates to what Trump specifically wants to support, all of his campaign promises, if Massie goes against it, you don't think that that sets a bad precedent? And then what the hell is this 77%? That's not some sort of like high score. Like if this was some sort of like grade school test, then you'd practically be failing. But guys, I'm not here to just react to what this lunatic had to say. I'm here to show you this drama between Greene and Johnson. Okay, so she responds to this. She posts this video, by the way, with this deranged lunatic basically yelling. It's literally hurting my ears trying to react to this. This is a clinic on how to call out lies of social media influencers that get paid to spew propaganda. At Bennie Johnson, who I thought was my friend, couldn't even give me the courtesy of asking me if any of these lies were true. TMZ and Daily Mail actually reached out, but not Bennie. And Thomas Massie did not mistreat any woman, but happens to have a primary next week. So of course comes a story from a woman who is just jealous she isn't Mrs. Massie. Okay, Bennie Johnson responds. He says, I know everyone has become very fragile and overly emotional lately, so let me explain this calmly and slowly. I cover trending news topics on my show. The Massie allegations in your South American mansion were the #1 trending topics on this platform. I'm entitled to my opinions on these matters. I serve my audience. That's my job. And unlike you, I won't run away from my job when things get tough. Ouch. Even worse, you are now siding with left-wing extremists who attacked us all for years and want our government and leaders dead. Well, and they want us dead too. Anyway, have a great time crying about this on The View and CNN. You know she's gonna. You know she's done it before multiple times, and she's gonna do it again. Greene continued, because she loves to fight. You are a lying scumbag at Bennie Johnson. So now she's turning up. She's pissed. And just to be clear, we are definitely not friends. Oh, boo-hoo. Like, imagine being friends with this lady. Have you heard her voice before? All you cover and elevate are trending lies and get paid to do it. Literally the most repulsive level of MAGA. Like, she's literally been on his show before. He wasn't repulsive before, but, you know, okay. I never fled America. Yes, I sold my house in Rome, Georgia, and have another house under contract in Georgia. As Brian and I are planning to get married, and I wanted to live closer to my family like my mom and kids, and now I'm on vacation. Gee, what a scandal, you moron. Bennie didn't even go in on her like this at first. But let's keep going. You could have reached out and asked me about the complete and total BS Loomer was posting, but nope. Instead, you chose to trash talk me, name call me, and spread the lies for money. And since you decided to do this, people have been telling me things I had no idea about you. Allegations about young men at conservative conferences. So now she's saying that he's gay. Allegations that she got paid by Russia and Israel. Allegations that you rip off people's content and articles and pretend like it's your own. How about you cover those trending topics, Bennie? I mean, nobody's going to know if somebody's secretly gay or not, but let's just say that Andrew Gillum out of Florida, you know, got caught red-handed, whereas Bennie Johnson has, I believe, 4 children with his wife. But anyway, continuing, because Johnson didn't let that one go. Well, I think maybe hold on. Let's see. Did Johnson respond? He did respond. More drama and crash outs. Got it. But thanks for proving my point. Repeat the left's lies about me, which I've denied over and over again, and there's absolutely zero evidence of. You're working for the left, doing their job, trying to destroy MAGA. Do you think Trump is a Russian asset as well? See, here's the difference. What you said about me is evidence-free slander. What I said about you is true. I've had you on my show a dozen times where you claim to be fighting for mass deportation, secure borders, secure elections, and fighting against the forces trying to destroy our country. These turned out to be lies to my audience, since you now chose to dunk on the president to get booked on The View and legacy media networks. You're sympathizing with Democrats who have been facilitating an invasion of our country and want us all dead. I covered the news. I covered the news on what had been alleged about Massie, and I covered the news about you. You both were supposed to represent your voters who also elected Trump. You turned on them, and that is true. See, Bennie actually had a bit of decorum here. He wasn't really doing the name call. Like, she was like doing all of these name calls, and I mean, she's totally crashing out. And then, of course, I responded. I said, damn, Bennie, you didn't have to cook her like that. So, of course, being silly here, adding literal fuel to that fire. Let's continue here to the last little bit. This is where he cooks this woman. Okay. Next time Bennie is speaking to young people at a Turning Point USA rally, everyone remember that Bennie hates Thomas Massie, who young voters love and support. Well, they don't love him enough because he's getting his butt kicked right now. Bennie Johnson loves MAGA Israel-funded Ed Galarain. Gen Z does not support our tax dollars going to Israel, but Bennie Johnson viciously attacks Thomas Massie, the only Republican who voted for my amendment to stop funding from being sent to Israel. The generational divide is real, and Bennie Johnson's dream is to be a Fox News anchor next to Mark Levin, spoon-feeding the boomer neocon establishment slop that is literally destroying the future of Turning Point USA's targeted audience, Gen Z, with 3 exclamation points at the end. So she posts something showing that a younger demographic tends to lean Massie than this Galrain person. But let's not forget the younger generation doesn't vote quite as much. So let's see how Bennie responded, because this is where he decided that the gloves were off and he was cooking with Crisco. Marjorie, I don't like frauds who betray their voters and the MAGA base, like you did. That's why you're tweeting from a former member of Congress account. Embarrassing. You're 52. Time to stop auditioning for The View. Also, calm down. Aren't you supposed to be on vacation? And he didn't end it there. He ended this with a banger, guys. So he said, Marjorie is claiming I'm out of touch with the MAGA base. The only time she was on The View, the one time she was on The View, Marjorie Taylor Greene immediately mutated into a woke feminist bashing men, Trump's agenda, and other Republican leaders to appease the low IQ lib women. Humiliating. Watch. All right, let's see what she had to say.
And I'll look, I'm with women, so I feel very comfortable saying this. I'm really tired of the pissing contest in Washington, D.C. between the men. Yeah. I really am.
Calling his MAGA cronies because they say that you're slamming Republicans too much. Well, you're taking my job.
Practically, I yelled at Mike Johnson last week on our GOP conference call. By the way, I'm missing the call today. It's going on right now. And I hope that Mike Johnson.
Why would you admit to not being at work when people elected you to do that and not be on The View? Okay.
Is finally giving a single health care policy because the country deserves it, and it shouldn't be a secret. And I shouldn't have to go into a skiff to go find our Republican health insurance plan.
Maybe there is no plan.
So, Marjorie, conservatives were criticizing you for coming on this show. I think you mentioned it already, that there were a few. And you called them, quote unquote, I believe this is you, mostly weak Republican men. So, would you like to name names?
Guys, you can't tell me that this isn't something that some leftists would do. I mean, this is Marjorie Taylor Greene, guys. Every time you see anything is always criticizing Trump and Israel and apparently criticizing men as well. So Bennie Johnson didn't even have to stoop to Greene's level. And he also has receipts like, hey, who the hell is eager to go out here? Because Greene, I believe, has been on The View more than once, actually. I think this is just the one instance. I don't know if Johnson knows that she's been on there more than once, but she has been. And she's been on CNN a bunch of times, like giving all these interviews, and everything she says is nothing about the Democrats, nothing about transgender insanity anymore, nothing about open borders anymore, nothing about Christian values being under attack anymore. It's just all Trump, Trump, Trump. And, you know, Trump's ruining the economy. Trump's going to ruin it. You know, that's the first thing the Democrats say. Oh, he's going to ruin everything. And then when the slightest thing goes wrong, see, I told you. And then when things autocorrect, because that's all in Trump's plan, then it's nothing to say. He's just going to ruin it again. Well, remember how things went bad like 2 months ago? That's what Greene is going to continue to do. She is basically a radical leftist. And that's what Thomas Massie is doing as well. He's an ideologue who, while I agree with his ideology, you also have to be able to win. And as you can see, he's losing right now, which isn't a good place to be. And it kind of doesn't matter if he was in office or not, because when he was, did he really accomplish anything besides voting against Trump and voting with Democrats? No. So of course I wouldn't support Massie. Like, this guy's voting literally with the Democrats. I don't care if it's only like 27% of the time. That's too freaking much, in my opinion. And I'm glad Bennie Johnson went ahead and went in on Marjorie Taylor Greene. This woman is getting exposed, guys, for the fraud that she is. And as far as I'm concerned, good freaking riddance. But these are just my thoughts, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate you guys watching. I'm out. Shout out to my members, patrons, and fellow anomalies: Cyber Noodle, 655, The Great, Bella Scott, Carpentier John, and Pinecone 6. I appreciate you guys every single day.
What happened to Thomas Massie? President Trump is banning sex changes on minors. Massie voted against it. President Trump is cutting taxes and saving Kentucky families $10,000. Massie voted against it. President Trump is securing our border and deporting criminal aliens. Massie voted against Trump again. And after Trump obliterated Iran's nuclear weapons program, Massie sided with Democrats and the Ayatollah. Let's fire Thomas Massie. MAGA Kentucky is responsible for the content of this advertising.